monitor over here. All right, it is party time. It is party time. It's Monday. We're trying to figure it out. I feel like I've been gone for a month and a half. Sara Gonzales. I mean, this was a weird break this last week.
A lot of people were concerned about you.
Weird. Like, I made a post saying that it was time to kind of take a minute to chill, and I was going to take a week. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know if it's because Chris was in Israel and then had other things going on, and he was out for so long, and it just makes me feel like I'm out of sync with everything. Nobody cares about the words I'm saying right now. Even Mark is out right now. Kayla, which is fine by me, Mark. Go get the flu. I don't care.
Dude, it's been a while. I haven't seen you in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's been weird, dude.
People were really concerned about you.
But people were sending messages.
Yeah.
Like, send up a flare. I was getting messages everywhere, Twitter, Facebook, all this kind of stuff. Text messages from people saying, where are you? Are you okay? You know, sometimes I put, some introspective things to make people think about life out there. Not necessarily what I'm going through. Usually maybe a little bit, a lot. But I put it out there. People get worried about me.
Well, to be fair, I, for a very short time, did worry about you because I'm in communication with you all the time, and your phone wasn't working.
My phone was not working. So, okay, guys. So, every year I do a thing with about 500-600 other cowboys down in a canyon in the middle of nowhere. And it's not a Brokeback thing. There may be some of that happening in the woods. I don't know. And I don't care. But, a lot of influential people. It's kind of a getaway. And so I was down there until this last Wednesday night. Mm-hmm. And then I got home Thursday morning. My phone decided it didn't like cellular service anymore.
Which is weird because I feel like that's the purpose of a phone.
Right. So it stopped. So Wi-Fi would work. But you know how that goes. Not everybody can text you if you're just on Wi-Fi. So I was trying to get some bills paid. I was trying to reset some accounts. I was trying to do all this stuff. Nothing could happen because I didn't have a cell phone. All right. Now, part of me enjoyed the peace of that. Then Friday hit. Now, I'm going to do a truck rant on this topic because I was just talking to CJ the other day about all the stuff that people's kids are involved with these days. Your kids are involved with too much shit, all right? Soccer, basket weaving.
Oh, I agree.
Baseball, football, tumbling.
Yeah.
They take you on day camps where they drive you out, you look at the woods for 30 minutes and drive you back home. And everybody's got to be involved in all of this crap. I was going to do a truck rant about how you got to get your kids out of all this shit because it's too much shit.
It is.
But here's the deal, Christopher. Christian,
it's
sorry.
Also too structured.
Here's the deal, though. On Friday, I went to the bank, I restructured some accounts, I moved some things around. That took about an hour and a half of my life, which was necessary, but I've been putting it off. And I went into the bank, funny story, side story. I go into the bank, and I had a check that was written out to an old LLC that account has been closed. And I go in there, and I give it to her, and I say, I don't know what to do with this check. Do I need them to reissue it because it's to the old thing? She goes, well, we'd have a hard time identifying you. The bank manager walks out and goes, hey, Chad. Never been in this bank before. It's Chad Prather. I mean, screams it all over the bank. I said, does that verify my identity at all? So, that being said, after that, I went to the mall. The mall is not.
Don't have malls.
The mall is not what it used to be. The mall sucks, guys.
It's horrible.
Brandon, the mall sucks.
The mall exists now for senior citizens to make their laps.
No. The mall exists for people to launder money.
Oh.
That every business in there is a money laundering thing, right? Now, really, there's Pakistani dudes selling you places to go in there and take a selfie with a backdrop. Really? And you can't walk down the aisle of the mall, like the center court of because some guy's going to stop you and go, my brother, come here, my brother, you must try this cream for your eyes. And I said, I got that cream. And he goes, you don't have this cream. I said, same freaking tube. I got it. Where did you get it? Cabo. Oh, no, brother. I said, same shit. Same shit. And I make a wide berth coming back to walk around it.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to. And he's like, we already talked to you. And I get by and he goes, hey, brother, not same shit. I said, same shit. Same eye cream. I already got it. Same stuff. So I go to the Apple store. And I don't want to get into all that's going to take with these people who have never interacted with other humans, only objects for their entire life. And I need a new cell phone. I'm trying to get an upgrade, or not an upgrade. I'm trying to trade it in and get the thing. It takes them 3 hours.
Get one that works.
3 hours to revive this phone, revamp it, whatever they do to it. So I go upstairs, and I'm 6 hours into my day here. I go upstairs to the food court, and I'm going to eat something that resembles food.
Okay.
I sit down at a table because I'm an observer of life. I like this. I'm watching this stuff. I'm watching these kids whose hair looks like a bad grooming clip at the dog pound, right? Like, I'm watching these kids whose skin color closely resembles translucent. Like, they haven't seen the sun. These are vampires. It's like a weird comedy sketch of humanity at the mall. And I start thinking to myself, you know that thing about getting your kids uninvolved? Scratch that. Keep them involved. Get them involved in more stuff. Get them outside. Take them to the park. Let them kick the dog. Let them do whatever they need to do, but get them involved. Put them in macrame. All right? Keep them involved. Don't let them go to the mall. That's what I'm trying to say, because it sucks them in. No, it's a weird little culture in there.
Yeah.
It's like, what was that movie with David Duchovny years ago, Evolution?
Oh, yeah.
Where the meteor hits and all the things down in the hole start to, that's the mall. All these weird alien creatures are down in that hole, and then it starts to try to grow and it just evolves really, really fast to take over the planet. That's the mall. I expected any time to see Jay and Silent Bob standing over there smoking a doobie near a comic book shop. It was weird, man.
Yeah.
What are we talking about? That was my week, Sarah. That's what point I'm trying to take you. They still have a pet store in the mall. Like, that pisses me off.
Oh,
there's a pet store.
And
there's dogs in glass cages.
Yes,
and multiple dogs.
Yeah. And Chad, at the mall that's by my house that I'm shocked is still around because it's always empty. This is a brand new pet store that they just opened.
What's the deal with that? And by
it's like
way,
a Petland.
Yeah.
Type thing. Yeah. It really pisses me off.
This is something. I forget what this one's called, the puppy cage or something. Anyway,
do they have designer dogs?
Yes, they got. Yeah, it's a mill.
Mm-hmm,
it's
like
a mill.
golden doodles.
And honest to God, I was like, this is gonna piss me off, but I'm gonna walk in there. I'm gonna look, and it's a place for teenage girls to go in there and sit in a corner with a puppy.
Yeah,
somewhere. I don't know where there's a trash can. You popped open a bottle of Dom Perignon the other night. This is not Dom, but I was like, me and Sarah are gonna drink champagne today. Y'all can have some too if you want. Here it goes.
Fun fact.
There it goes. Boom.
God, it scares me every time.
Hit the buffalo. Come here, hold your cup over here. So I go in there, and there's like this King Charles Cavalier Spaniel. With any receptacle that holds wine is a wine glass. All right. So we're drinking some champagne. In News and Why It Matters cups. Cheers. Here's to new endeavors. The News and Why It Matters. Have you ever watched that show? It's provocative.
I hear it is a good show. A must watch is what I hear.
Yeah.
I hear the host is freaking awesome.
It's a lot of provocative thought. That's all I'm going to say.
Wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Quite provocative.
Sounds like something I want to watch.
So, go in there, and they got this King Charles Cavalier Spaniel. And it's a little baby smush, right, in the little cage.
So cute.
And I'm like, turn around and walk out. Turn around and walk out. Turn around and walk out. Do not support this.
I know.
Do not support this.
But you want to rescue them from it.
I want to get them out.
I know.
All
I just
these
had
puppies.
this conversation
and they were
with
probably
my
a
husband.
$6,000 dog in there. Who knows? They got bad credit, no problem.
Truly.
We'll finance your dog.
Just to tell you, we're like sharing similar experiences here because we went in and my husband saw those dogs and I was so close to getting him to agree to it, but we were looking at them. It was a mini golden doodle, I believe, and they were like $5,000. I'm like, for a dog in a glass enclosure at the mall?
Yeah, that's going to shit on your floor.
If I'm going to pay that much, I'm going to a reputable breeder.
Now, exactly. Like, so my biscuit came from out of Shelley Luther, our good friend Shelley Luther.
Right.
So she's got hers, and every now and then has puppies. They're not breeders.
Yeah.
But they got a farm out there, and they got a great line of dachshunds. So I got a mini dachshund her. And like, this is a great dog because this dog cleans up after itself. Because Biscuit, she poops, turns around and eats it. Oh, no. And not only that.
She was just licking me earlier.
Kayla, Don't let her lick you ever.
You saw her doing it.
When I get home, like I moved into the new house, which I love, by the way. I got great neighbors. They leave me alone. It's fantastic. Finally met some immediate neighbors just this weekend. And
They're cool?
Huh?
They're cool?
I don't know. I mean, we said hi.
Oh.
And basically with a nod that said, you're going to keep to yourself, right? And we both agreed to that silently, and it was okay. But there's a big black cat that roams around my property, and it's a big fat one, so it's well fed,
yeah.
right? So there's mice, and thank God for that, because mine backs up to the woods and a little creek and stuff. So this cat's doing its job. That's what cats are for. They're not for petting and loving like you have.
Right. Okay.
Your cat tried to suckle you.
Yes.
Saturday.
Yes.
You sent me a picture of your cat and said this cat just tried to suckle me.
It's actually a problem. So apparently when cats get taken away from their mothers too young, they like try to suckle other things, except my cat actually goes straight for my nipple.
Okay.
It's very weird. I don't let him, but it is very weird. It makes me uncomfortable.
I'm uncomfortable.
Maybe he sees the baby doing it and he's like,
You think that's it? I don't think the cat's thinking like that. But this cat around my house has a particular spot out by my driveway, and I have a detached garage out back. Cat likes to go out there and do its business back there. Biscuit gets out of the truck, beeline every day, getting a snack, getting a little kitty snack. And I've had to pull it out of her mouth. And I mean, sometimes I can't get there in time. Like, she'll fight me over this turd. I mean, she will fight me for the turd.
What?
And I'm like, ugh, this is a dog that sleeps at the foot of my bed. Yeah.
Well,
would sleep on my face if I'd let her, but I'm not letting her.
I feel like, doesn't that mean that the dog has some sort of a deficiency if they do
this
that?
This dog has a lot of deficiencies. I mean, this Biscuit's always doing something. I got to take her to the vet, actually. I got to get her a shot. She's got some allergies going on. But this was my week, so it was all that. And then of course, Saturday I had a big get-together at the house. Sunday I went to a 2-year-old birthday party. And I'm looking around, and my the 2-year-old's on the bicycle butt naked last night and just driving around. I'm like, I want to be 2 again. I just want to ride my bike butt naked.
Yeah, how is it fair that when you're 2, it's cute, and when you're an adult, they throw you in jail?
Yeah, and I'm like, I really just want to get on a bicycle and just ride down the street naked in the middle of the night.
I think you should see what happens if you do it.
At that point, I don't think the neighbors are going to keep to themselves.
No?
I don't think so. I think they're going to want to join the party. It's going to be a naked party. Just add champagne. But it was a long week. I felt like I really missed you guys. I did. I missed you. You and I stay in touch. So yeah. I was like, I feel like I haven't seen you in a month.
I know. It was a very long week.
And we're going to go to a break in a few minutes, and then hopefully we're going to come back. I'm kind of giddy because of the guest that I hope we're going to have after the break. Did we ever get them? Do we know? We'll get them. Okay.
We don't know.
Like, I'm at a point now where if we're trying to get a guest on, and it's like we're having all these technical issues, after a while it's like I don't care who it is. I just don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm done. If you don't know how to work a computer, I got things to say. But my favorite all-time author hopefully will join us the next segment. If not, we'll entertain you some more.
We'll all find out together.
If not, we'll talk about Kanye West.
Oh, yeah.
We'll talk about Ye.
Yeah. Is it Ye or Yay?
I don't know.
I feel like it's Yay.
Is it Yay?
It's Yay because you're taking the end of Kanye. I had this conversation last week because it's Yeezy, right?
Yeah.
But Chris says it's Ye. I think it's Yay.
Well, me personally, I don't K. I don't give a rat's A. I don't. So,
well, fine.
We're going to talk about that. I got a little controversial on Twitter this week about my opinion.
Not you.
I didn't think it was controversial at all. Most of you who watch this show or listen to this show, you won't think so either. But I have my opinions on this whole Kanye thing. And I want to talk to you about our good friend who was on a very popular podcast. So we'll talk about that too.
Great.
Because I think you've listened to that episode.
I did.
So we'll get into some things and talk behind the scenes about Yay or Yee or Jeezy. I don't know who these people
Jeezy.
are. I don't know. Is there a Jeezy? There's a young Jeezy.
Young Jeezy.
Yeah, it's not the same person though, right?
A Diddy. P. Diddy.
There's Diddy.
Remember when he was Puff Daddy?
It's Puff Daddy, Sean Combs. Yeah.
Puffy.
Let's talk
Wow.
about First Liberty. When it comes to liberals in Congress, and they're not liberals anymore, they're leftist progressives is what they are. There's no way that they would accept term limits for themselves, but yet they're fighting tooth and nail to impose term limits on our Supreme Court justices. So it's, term limits for thee, but not for me. It's completely hypocritical. And, since when has it ever been a problem for the left to be hypocritical? They do whatever it takes to seize more power, even if it means purging the Supreme Court of its most experienced justices. To no one's surprise, their new court purging scheme would remove long-serving conservative justices, Clarence Thomas, Justice Alito come to mind. Then they would replace those with new justices who would just rubber stamp their radical agenda. So since Democrats are working hard to pass court purging with term limits, we need to work even harder to stop it, or the Supreme Court as we know it will never be the same again. So if you care about the integrity of the Supreme Court and don't want to see it taken over by political hacks, visit supremecoup.com. If you haven't done so already, go do it. Supreme, COUP.com. Supremecoup.com. We'll be right back. Son of a bitch!
Oh.
Yeah, we didn't get our guest. We couldn't get him. Nelson DeMille. We're going to get him next week.
Happy Monday,
He's
everyone.
got a new book coming out tomorrow. We'll give him this love. He's got a new book coming out tomorrow. I think it's the 8th installment of the John Corey series. It's called The Maze. If you haven't read any of those books, oh my God. Nelson DeMille, honest to God, when they reached out to me about him coming on the show, I was like,
You were fanboying?
I mean, like a boss. I can't wait to read this book. It takes him 16 months to write a book.
Whoa.
And he writes it on a legal pad with a number 1 pencil. You know anybody that uses a number 1 pencil?
No, it's always number 2.
Yeah, it usually is.
Why is it a number 1 pencil?
I don't know, but that's what he likes. But it takes him 16 months. He writes it out on a legal pad. It is witty.
Wow.
It is smart. It is educational. It is sarcastic. He writes everything in the first person. So John Corey is a New York detective. It's all based around Long Island because that's where Nelson DeMille is from. So if you saw The General's Daughter, or if you've read Plum Island or any of those, like those are all, it's all based. The old John Travolta General's Daughter. That was that's a Nelson DeMille book. So he had that character, Paul Brennan, who was in 3 different books. Then he's got Paul Sutter, who was in 2 books, which was the first book I ever read, The Gold Coast. Oh, literary masterpiece. And then like 16 years later, maybe not that long, but like 12 years later, he writes The Gatehouse, which is the follow-up to that. And
Wow.
devoured it. Devoured it. But then the John Corey series, there's been like 8 of those books. Phenomenal. He's written under some pseudonyms and some aliases and stuff, some pen names out there. But let me tell you, I'm giddy.
Well, when you have him on, can you ask him why the number 1 pencil?
Well, I will ask him, and I also want to remind him that I'm not going to blame him that when a man is 79 years old, listen, he's a decorated Vietnam veteran.
Wow.
Saw a lot of action in Vietnam. Actually, the Paul Brennan character was based on his own experiences in Vietnam, and he wrote his follow-up to The General's Daughter was Upcountry, which takes him back into Vietnam, into the places where, some of those battles happened. And it was actually based on his own revisiting Vietnam 30 years after he left. So anyway, incredible author, incredible person. I can't wait to talk to him about the new book, The Maze. So I'm giddy with this. And they reached out to me.
Yeah, that's funny.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
Like,
isn't it funny when your life comes full circle like that? Yeah.
Yeah, like I can remember laying in a friend's guest bedroom because I was homeless a long time ago.
Wow.
Reading The General's Daughter or reading Gold Coast because that friend was like, I was like, you got anything to read around here? And they got all these books. I was making a joke. They got a whole library. So it was a nice house.
Yeah.
And so they were like, oh, have you ever read Nelson DeMille? No. They were like, here, you got to read Nelson DeMille. I wish I could get this excited about Brian Kilmeade, who will be on the show in a few weeks, but I do love Brian. I read everything Brian Kilmeade writes, too.
Nobody sent him this clip.
Yeah, so I read everything Brian Kilmeade writes. Personality-wise, not the same. But
I love those first full circle moments, though.
But those full circle moments where it's like, this is the universe coming back to you. So our good friend Dave Rubin, speaking of that, was just on Bill Maher's podcast.
Club Random.
Club Random, which is pretty fascinating. It's if you want to listen to Bill Maher get high and overtalk everybody.
Yeah.
It's a weird conversation because he's a terrible interviewer. Bill Maher's a great comedian. He's a great monologuist, but he is a terrible interviewer.
Well, I mean, I can imagine that one would not be a great interviewer just by the sheer fact that they're completely wasted.
Hammered.
Like second number one
Hammered.
of the podcast, just completely hammered.
And then you have Dave Rubin, who is a pretty good interviewer.
Yeah, he's great.
And he turns around. He's at some points he's interviewing Maher. Right. And so Dave's drinking tequila. Maher's getting high. And
I noticed, by the way, did you watch any of it or just listen?
I just listened to it.
Okay. Well, there was a very familiar tequila bottle.
Yeah.
That they had. It was the blue and white one that you had not that long ago.
Casa Azul.
Yeah. They had that sitting right there on the table.
Yeah,
I said,
that's a good one.
I've drank that tequila.
I almost brought a new bottle of that in here today. But they were talking on that show, and that was one of the things. Dave was talking about the universe, and Bill Maher kept talking about, I don't believe in the universe like doing things for you. And Dave, of course, said, yeah, the universe, dude. You put these things out into the universe, they come back full circle, they do all that. So you never know with stuff like this. $1 million, $1 million, $1 million, $1 billion. My T-shirts are on sale if you use promo code 33SALE at watchchad.com. Cleaning out inventory. So help me bring that into full fruition in the universe. But anyway.
It was a fascinating podcast.
Yeah, it was weird. It was weird. And we'll see Dave in a couple of weeks because we're going to do election coverage here. I think they're going to let me be involved.
I hope so.
I think I get to do the pre-coverage, you and me probably, before Glenn starts telling important stuff.
Are we Glenn's opening act?
Basically so. That's historically the way it's been. So I don't know. The powers that be have not given me. Of course, I had said I was going to be off somewhere hunting.
Yeah. They didn't think you were going to be
here.
But
now I'm like, nah, I think I'll be here. I think
I'll be here.
You talked me into it.
It's a big night. It's a really big night for the country.
I think the universe just gave me a headache.
I was wondering.
It could be cheap champagne.
This is good champagne.
This is not cheap champagne. It's not expensive champagne. It could be the cup I'm drinking it out of. So, Kanye. All right?
Okay.
So, I put the tweet out there. Kanye obviously went on and had a very, I guess, important interview with Tucker Carlson. And that's that, and I'm going to play that in a second. But we have these celebrities. And like you take, for instance, a Bill Maher who says something every now and then, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, he's being red-pilled." He's absolutely not.
I hate when people say
he's
that.
Absolutely not. He's just saying things that are commonsensical, and he's speaking out against extremes.
Conservatives are like the nerd at the high school dance you're just like so excited for someone to notice you, and you're like, oh my God, she likes me. No, they still don't.
They still don't. They don't live. That's what I'm trying to get across to people when I tweet these things. They would not piss in your ear if your brain was on fire.
No.
They live in another stratosphere.
Yes.
Trust me when I tell you that I've been around some celebrities, a lot of them actually. They don't care.
No.
They don't care. They live in a whole other world. You've been around celebrities. They don't care. Different world. Well, not saying they're mean or ugly or what. Some of them are. Some of them aren't. Yeah. But even still, they're in a different world.
Well, even Elon Musk. They're like, but he said he believes in freedom of speech. It's like he believes in transhumanism.
Exactly. He just built an AI robot that will destroy all of us when Skynet goes self-aware.
It's like he's like one of the biggest climate change advocates. Like,
exactly.
No.
Exactly. So Kanye, Kanye comes out and does this thing, and they let him. He's back on Twitter, whatever. And then immediately gets banned. We'll talk about that again. It's so he comes on, he does the Tucker Carlson thing, and he's talking about, life of unborn babies and why abortion is wrong. And kudos for saying that. That's great. He wears a White Lives Matter t-shirt, which is also for sale at his website. So this... I mean, listen, if I could I'm a marketing guy. If I could drum up that kind of PR real quick, it's smart.
Yeah.
Once again, I'm not saying he don't believe this stuff. I believe he probably does, the stuff he's saying. But he ain't 100% full bore on it. And now, I put this tweet out there, put it up there. I said, no one needs Kanye West to tell us that any lives matter. White, unborn, whatever. We already know that without celebrity promotion. Now, everybody came at me and said I was bashing Kanye. No, I don't have the energy to bash Kanye West, nor do I care to bash Kanye West. They were like, a lot of people say, well, I'm glad he said it. I'm glad he said it.
Right.
But if you look at my follow-up tweet right there, it said, there's no bashing here. Your conviction, you, the listener, watching this show right now, your conviction matters just as much as Kanye's. People are now finding validation because a celebrity said what they've been saying for years. A celebrity with a platform doesn't validate truth. It was true before he said anything. And I'm glad he said it. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad he said it. But guys, stop getting hard on for it, okay? Because when you do that, you're setting yourself up for a huge letdown later on. Because again, these people are going to come out with their wild cockamamie, anywhere from South Beach to Hollywood to New York, Manhattan ideas that don't fit with your Midwestern values.
Yeah.
And your blue-collar, hardworking values. And you're going to be like, well, damn, I thought he was on our side. No. They just said something that you agreed with. They're on their side.
Yeah, I mean, God bless these people, though, because they're just clamoring for someone who has some sort of, influence on culture to say something that they agree with.
Right.
And so they hear just the slightest bit and they're like, finally, someone's saying it. But you can't also simultaneously say, who cares what Hollywood thinks?
But give me the Sara Gonzaleses of the world, the Steve Daces of the world, the people who have been in the trenches.
Right.
Researching this stuff, doing the writing, doing the work, saying this stuff for years and putting it out there. And then suddenly somebody comes along, Bill Maher farts and something comes out that sounds somehow conservative. And it's a conservative toot. And everybody's like, oh my God, I'm subscribing to HBO.
You know what's funny? I was just thinking about this earlier this morning. Because I constantly think about, I am a minority, right? I would, but no, hold on. I would be.
I'm gonna need to see that circumcision.
I would be so much more famous. Not that I care about it, but like I would have so many more followers and viewers if I had been Democrat and then changed my mind and become conservative.
Thank you.
They always get all of the credit. It's like I've been right the whole time,
right? And
you don't get as much credit,
right?
If you aren't the one who's walking away from the left.
Right.
It's like, bitch, I already knew that this was the right side the whole time.
Exactly. Like this was always a whole deal. It's just like the person at the church who murdered 3 people, went to prison, escaped the death penalty, found Jesus in prison, and now every church in America wants to hear their testimony.
Yeah.
What about the guy who gave his life to Christ when he was 8 years old and has lived a good life his entire, raised a great family and grandkids and served in the church and the community and did all these things right? We don't want to hear that guy's story. You know why? Because it's boring. Am I right?
You get no credit.
Am I right?
They always want the ones who are like reformed leftists.
Exactly. So anyway, I want to talk some more about this stuff because that probably pissed some people off right here. And that's what I'm here to do. Charging higher interest is how banks make more money, and they take a lot more of your hard-earned money if your credit score is just okay but not great. Well, ScoreMaster, the new science in accelerating credit scores, puts you in control of your money, not the bank. Say your credit score is 700, you're borrowing $500,000 to refi your home. That's a lot of money. Hey. Starting at ScoreMaster could save you over $75,000 over the life of your loan. That's $75,000. That's your money, not the bank's. Now, that's the genius behind the ScoreMaster 3-week rule, especially now with the soaring interest rate. So no matter your credit score, before you apply for any loan, auto lease, or credit, start at ScoreMaster. It only takes a minute to get started. You can add 60 to 100 points in about 3 weeks. Life has enough regrets. Don't add paying higher interest rates to the list. Visit scoremaster.com/Chad. You get a special 7-day trial. Again, special 7-day trial is waiting at scoremaster.com/Chad. We'll be right back. We're back. Yeah. My Freddie Mercury. Hey, we're back. I haven't waxed eloquent in a week. I want to do it right now, folks. Gone. Just a mere week, Chris. Just a mere week from your watchful eyes and listenful ears. The whole of the news cycle turns into a cornucopia into which one merely need dip a toe in order to find oneself soaked in amusing food for jocular thought. And what, oh Chad, who left us wailing in the cold, what could you possibly be referring to? Well, I'm going to start with the president, the head honcho, the fearless leader, the commander-in-chief himself, Joe Biden. Joe Biden. Yes, the man of the hour who has inexplicably added to the collective talents bestowed upon the office of president, the most coveted of skills, the ability to talk to the dead. God, I hate I was out of here last week. Last Wednesday, Biden did a little more than reach across the aisle. He reached across the mortal divide itself when he called upon dead Indiana Republican lawmaker Jackie Walorski to come up and be recognized. Now, I know that your first reaction, and mine, would be to say something like, holy shit, the president's finally lost the last two marbles he had rolling around in his pea-brain skull. Can we please 25th Amendment this dude and save ourselves the remaining embarrassment and possibly a nuclear war? But I want you to consider two things. First, one, what if he was right? We have neither any confirmation nor proof against the idea that Miss Walorski's ghost was in attendance of the event. And hey, old Joe's tippy toes are so close to the great beyond, he might actually be able to see into it. Maybe all those times he was shaking the hand of someone who wasn't there, maybe there was someone there. Second, and more important, in my opinion, is that if we get rid of this dingbat, we got a worse dingbat waiting in the wings. Joe Biden's got a wicked case of the old-timers floating around in his noggin, but the chick standing behind him with the Nagin-esque baseball bat goes full Riri all on her own. Yes, the vaunted, sainted, feminine icon and MVP of the POC, Kamala Harris, decided the next day that she would make a valiant effort to one-up the president by stating that we have a very important, strong, and enduring alliance with North Korea. She proceeded to make this statement after visiting the demilitarized zone and returning to the part of Korea we actually are welcome in, which is, of course, South Korea. Now, lest you think that we're living in the end times as it might be written by Monty Python, let me make some calm assurances to you about the state of our country in the main and the world at large. It might not sound like much of a hopeful hot take, but it's better than waiting to have your insides painted the bottom of an impact crater. Now, right now, we're seeing about as good an example of mismanaged power as you can get short of true evil anti-genius like Mao or Stalin or even Hitler. The bumbling, stumbling, mumbling head of state with his mind-numbingly stupid VP and administration of monkeys flinging poo don't look great on the world stage. But they're also setting the stage. God willing, they're setting it for something different. The pendulum may well swing back in the opposite direction, and who knows, this time it might produce a character who has the pugnacious tenacity of a Donald Trump combined with the wisdom and the sagacity of a Ronald Reagan. Our nation yearns for, cries out for a spate of relief from the constant effusive insult to our collective intelligence. Come on, folks. We strive day in and day out to lead our lives by example, that it may trickle upward into the halls of power. We miss the days of mean tweets, not because of the tweets, because when there were mean tweets, at least the friggin' country made sense. Okay, we miss the mean tweets themselves, too. Voting time is a-coming around. The mountain folks, get the bad guys out, get the good guys in, if there are any good guys to be had. And for God's sake, if it turns out Joe Biden can talk to the dead, let's get that man a reality TV show, because I want to hear what he has to say.
I don't.
Yeah, you do.
He the picture that you showed whenever you were talking about him, he looks like a skeleton.
Yeah, you do. Come on, man.
I said no. The creepy whispering. I just no.
Come on,
no.
man. I think we can at least say that the conversation is over about climate change.
It's like...
Hurricane Ian, of course, pummeled the West Florida coast.
First hurricane ever.
Ever.
Yeah, because of climate change.
Yeah, I mean, ever.
We've
so
never
we
seen
can at
hurricanes.
least say that for the first time, climate change, we can just settle that right now. No one. I'm going to get back to ye or yay or Jeezy in a minute. Since you're our resident ye-grow expert, we're going to talk about that. Here's my thing. Ron DeSantis, flawless execution of leadership through this crisis. Flawless.
Which you know the left hated.
They hate it, and they can't stand it.
They would have preferred more people dead from inaction.
Exactly. I put a tweet on there because Ron DeSantis tweeted. I retweeted it. But he said, this bridge is operational again, connecting it to the mainland after just 3 days. And, and people are like, oh, all I had to do is pack a little dirt. Just pack a little dirt on the road, on the side of the whole thing. And I was like, I retweeted, I said, Baltimore wouldn't have done this. Chicago wouldn't have done this. Atlanta wouldn't have done this. You know it. I know it. Your dead grandfather that voted for Joe Biden knows it. Wouldn't happen in 3 days.
Right.
Wouldn't happen. People are like, oh, yeah, well, Joe Biden paid for it. No. The taxpayers did. Look, Joe Biden, yeah, he funneled a lot of money to Florida, but he funnels a lot of money everywhere.
Joe Biden also was the president who at first he refused to reach out to Ron DeSantis and instead reached out to the mayors, the more local officials, and just, I don't know, Ron DeSantis just didn't get that call from Joe Biden. No. I wonder if that was a political move at all.
Yeah, and everybody's losing their freaking minds like, oh, well, you just pack a little dirt. Do you, honest to God, you were watching with your husband, you were watching football last night. I was watching the same thing, and I texted you because they were playing in Baltimore. Mm-hmm. And they were like, oh, beautiful night sky here at Baltimore, this skyline here, gorgeous city. I was like, I want to see aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. I wanted to see like a drone flying over, a bunch of people sleeping in the street and just the trash.
Yeah.
Like from the water, any skyline is beautiful lit up at night. But you know good and well, places like Baltimore with the liberal leadership was never, ever, ever have gotten that done so fast. And Florida's back up and running. Listen, I'm doing 5 shows in Port Charlotte, Florida. And it got hit. The Visani Theater down there just got the air conditioning units ripped off the building. My buddy Eric that owns the place, he was there. And so
when are you doing shows there?
In a month.
Oh wow.
In November. And so he called me last night and he said, I said, are you okay? You guys all right? I've been getting reports from Party Foul Steve because they've been communicating. I said, you guys all right? He goes, yeah, the building got hit, but we're putting it back together. I said, are the shows on? He goes, oh, yeah, that's why I'm calling you. He goes, we're adding an extra night. We're adding another night. So we're going to be there starting Wednesday night, the 16th, going all the way through Saturday night. They're at the Visani there in Port Charlotte, so y'all come out. But they got hit, and it's like these people know how to pull their shit back together. And go on, business as usual. New Orleans still isn't recovered from Katrina. Yeah. Still not.
Yeah.
Still not.
It's true.
Anyway.
So while we're on the subject of hurricanes, could I just ask, people who live literally like on the coast in a place where they know that they are very likely to have a hurricane and have their house completely swept away.
Yeah.
Should they kind of be on their own for rebuilding? Should they receive?
I mean, you took the chance, right?
Should they receive taxpayer money and funds, FEMA? I mean, should you receive
just embrace
that when
the climate?
Yeah, I mean, if you know,
embrace the change.
If you know that you are in a hurricane area, and you live right there, right on the coast, I don't feel like my tax money should go to help you rebuild your mansion on the coast.
I mean, there's arguments to be made, but on both sides.
Yeah.
Speaking of hurricanes, I love the song Hurricane by Bob Dylan. Mm-hmm. And I go to spin class. It sounds gay.
That is the gayest thing about you.
Sounds gay. I love going to spin class. I love cycling. I love getting on the bike. I do the whole thing. And the other day, they were playing, the song Hurricane is a protest song about the wrongful imprisonment of Reuben Carter, who was the boxer. I think they did a Denzel movie. Denzel played Reuben Carter. So anyway, that was his nickname, Hurricane. And so they're playing this song at the beginning of the spin class. And this thing's got the N-word in it at several places. I mean, it's like all this kind of stuff. And there's like a whole row of black folks on the front deal. And I was like, bold move by the spin instructor to play Bob Dylan's Hurricane. But I love the song. It's a fantastic song.
Yeah.
You know what? In the real world, people don't get triggered by everything.
Right.
They just don't.
Right.
We're just enjoying our spin class. All right. Do you really control your retirement money? If you got a 401k or an IRA or similar retirement plan, the government controls it. They have it. They decide how much you can borrow when you got to pay it back, if you're going to owe taxes and the penalties for taking money out too soon or waiting too long. It's your money, but not to them. Thanks to our skyrocketing national debt in the Congress that continues to spend like drunken sailors on shore leave, who knows how much you'll have to pay in taxes during a retirement that, hey, these days may last you 30 years. Bank on yourself is a better way to grow and protect your hard-earned money. This retirement plan alternative has never had a losing year in over 160 years. You're in control. You get to access your money for any purpose, no questions asked, without government penalties or restrictions on how much income you could take or when you could take it. So you can't do that with a 401k or an IRA. You can't do it. This is the strategy famous business folks like, McDonald's they use when no banker would lend them a dime, and almost anyone can do it. Built-in inflation protection, your money's guaranteed to grow by a larger dollar amount every single year in both good times and bad. Peace of mind, perhaps the best reason of all, you'll know the minimum guaranteed value of your retirement savings on the day you plan to tap into them, and at every point along the way. You can get a free report with all the details on how the Bank on Yourself strategy adds, guarantees, predictability, and control to your financial plan. Just go to bankonyourself.com/Chad. That's bankonyourself.com/Chad, and we'll be right back. Oh my God. Sitting around here and them tiny bubbles are going to my head. What are we talking about?
Okay, Bill Maher.
What are we talking about?
Kanye.
Let's go eat sushi. Steven's in the room.
Yeah.
Let's go eat. I want to get the kids, get everybody.
Okay.
Call your mama. I want sushi tonight.
I really want sushi tonight.
We need to get caught up. Steven's rolling his eyes. He's like, dear God, do we have to hear more about Chad's relationship issues? Yes, Steven. Yes. My world is marked in doom, and I want you to carry that load with me.
I wasn't going to rat you out.
You rat me out. Hey, yay, whatever, Kanye.
Yay.
So, do we need to play the clip? Should we play it? I mean, so he's on Tucker Carlson. He says all this stuff. The point being, if you go back and you read your Bible, it talks about, hey, if you remain silent, the rocks will cry out, right? Talking about in praise to God, right? Because the creation recognizes its creator. There's always going to be that time which somebody's going to step up and say something you agree with, right? Mentioned Bob Dylan a little while ago with all of his protest songs. A whole generation recognized their voice in his music. That's why Bob Dylan, who is a great poet, terrible singer, became a thing, right? I love Bob Dylan music, but I wish somebody else was singing it.
Yeah.
So, so that's the whole thing. So, okay, so you got your Kanyes, you got your Joe Rogans, you have your Elon Musks, I'm assuming. My thing is, I don't need a celebrity, and I don't think anybody listening needs this. You don't need a celebrity to validate the truth you believe in and your convictions. That's all I was saying with that.
Your audience believes that.
Yeah.
I think there's a large part of society who does, sadly.
And I'm not saying also for that group of people that it's not necessary, because sometimes some eyes might be opened up to go, okay, maybe I am thinking wrong.
I mean, politics is downstream from culture, right?
Right. So I get it in that sense why that's important, and I'm glad they say it, because there are people out there who go, this world's kind of going to shit, and Vladimir Putin's got his finger on the nuclear button, and maybe we are about to get some kind of boom boom. Why is the world going to shit? Oh, well, here's a guy that I've listened to his music, and maybe he's saying something. I've never understood how a person who sings Jesus Walks translates into how I'm supposed to think about my worldview.
Right.
That to me seems a little sketch, but if it works, it works.
That's my thing. Is like I don't disagree with you. In fact, I completely agree with you. But I just think it's sad that there is a large sector of society, because we have all of these identity politics, that I could tell the Black community all about Margaret Sanger and how abortion was a eugenics program and all of these Black babies are being aborted. So if you are the non-racist party, you probably want more Black babies to be born rather than aborted. Like, you and I can tell the Black community all these things, but somehow it will not be as well received as when a member of their own community says it. I don't agree with it. I don't think it's right. Yeah, but that just is what it is.
And you had a provocative tweet about how, he gets back on Twitter and he summarily got booted immediately for saying white lives matter. And
I just said, he clearly wants to
elevate.
He's
getting canceled, not booted for that.
Yeah, Kanye wants to elevate Black culture, and the left wants to cancel him for it. So you tell me who's the real racist.
Right. Great tweet.
That's what he wants to do, right? He's trying to tell them, like, we need to stop killing our children.
Right.
We need to have fathers in the homes. I mean, these are all things that would help Black culture so much.
Yeah.
But I get called a racist for saying it.
Yeah. You are a racist, but that's for you're a Yegro expert. Now, what got him banned on Twitter a day after he got back on there was when he started talking about being a Black Hebrew. That is where I'm saying, guys, that you start getting into that, it gets very anti-Semitic real fast.
Yeah, there was no excuse for that.
No, it gets real anti-Semitic real fast. And
Which is why you have to stop worshiping these people.
Exactly, because again, I guess what I'm trying to say is, yes, let the rocks cry out, but also remember that the rocks don't always operate with critical thinking skills. They're still dumb as stones.
Sometimes the rocks be a little crazy.
Yeah, the rocks recognize, but they don't always think.
Yeah.
They recognize truth when they see it.
Right.
They recognize the things that are important, but they don't always, so I'm just saying be careful where you lay them eggs, where you put them, because that basket gets dropped a little too often for me. Just like Donald Trump, like I'm not in that basket of deplorables. I don't care what the left tries to label me as. Do it, whatever. The guy runs for president again against Joe Biden or Gavin Newsom or Hillary Clinton or a dead armadillo in a road. I'm voting for Donald Trump, right? If that's my option, that's what I'm going to do.
Right.
Do I wish it was somebody else at this point? Yeah, hell, wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
But is what it is, right? So, is what it is, Sara Gonzales.
Yeah.
All right, we're out of you know what we're going to do? We're going to continue this into Tuesday night. That's what we're going to do. It's the way we do it.
All right, let's do it.
It's the way we do it. Let me read this real quick.
Wait, did we talk enough about the podcast about our fellow host?
About the Dave Rubens?
Yeah.
We'll get into that tomorrow night.
Okay.
We're going to get into it.
Oh,
into
it?
Oh, deep into it.
Oh, gosh.
Hey, remember the last time you had 2 great nights sleep in a row? Are you still thinking about it? You still thinking? I've been sleeping better than I have in years thanks to my Cozy Earth sheets. Cozy Earth was founded to help transform lives by offering the softest, most luxurious, and responsibly sourced bedding in the world. 13 years and over 5,000 5-star reviews later, they've never wavered on that promise. That's one reason why Cozy Earth is the choice of top designers. Another is their luxury materials, including the finest premium viscose from highly sustainable bamboo.
They're the best.
Cozy Earth bedding is super soft, lightweight, temperature regulating, so you sleep more comfortably year-round. Whether it's their luxury sheets, loungewear, and pajamas, or a new bath collection, you're going to love shopping at Cozy Earth. And for a limited time, you can order their bedding in 2 new colors, olive and navy. Every bedding items come in a beautiful reusable canvas tote. So get cozy now. Save 35% on Cozy Earth. Go to cozyearth.com/Chad. Enter promo code CHAD. I spell it Chad at checkout. Save 35%. cozyearth.com/Chad. Promo code Chad. We'll be right back. All right, Sara Gonzales Unfiltered on YouTube. Follow her there. Shop Sarah G. And, of course, watch Chad.com for all the fun stuff is. I got some stuff coming up. I'm going to be in Lindale, Texas. It's going to be a big show with the Ragamuffins in East Texas. And then we're bouncing all over the place. You get the full schedule. Watch Chad.com. Sign up at BlazeTV.com/Chad. Use promo code Chad and save. We're going to continue this conversation. We're going to get up in it tomorrow night on Tuesday. Love you. God bless you. Talk to you then. Bye.